Hello, guys. Hopefully, you guys had a good week. I know my episode 6 dropped on Friday, and let me tell you, it stirred up the pot a lot. I was very glad that I had to change my number, and I'll talk a little bit about that too. But funny how that works, right? Everybody knows the truth, just don't say it out loud. God forbid. Now, I was very careful not to mention names, but nevertheless, the threats and the intimidation and the name calling, like my name hasn't been dragged through the mud enough times already in my whole lifetime. Again, I'm no victim. I don't want anybody to think of me as a victim. I made a lot of choices and I own up to them. And my kids, both set of kids, because I have two batches. One of my first batch gave me a book that says, Mom, I want to know your story. And my second batch gave me a book. And again, I won't mention names. I want to know your story. But every time I start telling my story, they want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what I have to say. And keep in mind that some of the things that I know is because I lived it. And the ones that I hadn't lived were told to me by those who were involved in all this in my life. Now, off and on, because I don't know what they're going to threaten me with anymore. Like, okay, block me, you done that. Not talk to you, you done that. Call you names, you done that. So again, I don't know what new stuff they could muster up to go after me because they have for years. And, it sucks when you finally start to clean out the cobwebs or clean out your mind a little bit and start talking about it. And again, keep in mind that when I talk about something personal, it's because of something that's happening and something that I could relate to. I'm not going out of my way to make anybody uncomfortable or to go after anybody. That is not my thing. That's them. They like that. They like to go after people. Well, I shouldn't say people, me. I'm the bad one. But anyways, now that drama is gone, I'm so glad. Call it divine intervention that my phone had to be changed because otherwise my whole weekend would have been trying to put out these fires. And some of those fires that, in all honesty, they cannot be put out. You cannot erase the past, no matter how much you've tried. I've tried, God. I wish I could. I wish I could go back and change it all. I would, but it's not possible. So all we could do is come to terms with it. So with that said, I'm going to talk about Chicago weather. Look at this hair. It is insane. We went straight from winter, no spring, just straight to kind of like summer-like weather. It's unheard of, but lately it's been happening a lot in Chicago that way. Typically, I want to open the windows, but it's not happening. I almost put my AC on last night. So anyways, now with that said, we're not here to be stuck in the drama. We got more to talk about, more stories that aren't being told, more victims being ignored, and yes, more crime tied to illegal immigrants that people would rather look away from. Now, I found a website in YouTube yesterday, but generate a total of crimes within the last 5 years. Let's not just go after illegal immigrants, just the total crime, B&Es, theft, ambushes, crime, any kind of crime, stealing, all that good stuff. But the murders and all that's been going on. And I feel like within this last month, we're being told more and more and more. Either that or they're coming out of the woodwork. One of the two, or the news stations have no choice but to report on this. I mean, just right here in Illinois, I mean, the last girl that was killed at Loyola, I mean, these people wanted to sweep it under the rug like nothing ever happened. And luckily, the mom stood her ground and she's making some headwaves. And hopefully, all these parents keep it up. I know there is a group that Trump opened with his presidency for the victims. And hopefully these victims can keep spreading the word. Again, these Democratic run state cities, how disgusting they are being run and how ugly things are being done in these cities like Kami Mandani. Just his alone, it's disgusting. I mean, a 4-year-old girl was kidnapped in New York by someone who had already been deported multiple times. been arrested multiple times and released. There was also a hit and run, and this one I don't think it was any legal, of a 4-year-old right in front of a hospital in Brooklyn. Then another gang shooting who killed a baby in a stroller because they were trying to go after the father, but the bullet got the baby. This is all happening in daylight, pure daylight. And this guy doesn't have a care in the world. I don't even know how he sleeps at night, but that's the truth. Let me see if I could show you one of the videos that I'm talking about. So let's see. The 4-year-old.
Illegal migrant Carlos Forte, after being arrested for kidnapping a local 4-year-old girl from a laundromat and then being released back into the local community. According to the surveillance camera footage released by the laundromat, the incident unfolded as the suspect can be seen leaving the building with the toddler.
Check that out.
An immediate Amber Alert when her mother realized she was missing. A rapid response from local police, state authorities, and federal partners resulted in the child being found unharmed at a nearby public library, where staff recognized her from the alert and contacted police. Authorities say Forte was located shortly afterwards, taken into custody by New York Suffolk County officers, and charged with kidnapping and cruelty towards a child.
Now, do we think that these people are going to be locked up? I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. So that's what we got going. I don't know what to think anymore with these people because they get let out time and time again. And it's just not sanctuary cities. In Florida, I saw, and I'm sure you guys heard about it, a video of a guy which clearly looks like he's having a mental issue with a hammer. And when the woman goes outside to see what's going on, he beats her brutally with a hammer, guys, with a hammer. Let me see if I got that one. Let's see. Yeah, here we go.
Now is Republican North Carolina Congressman.
Wait, let me go back. You got to see this. They're not going to show you the actual act because it's brutal. It's brutal.
In other crimes as well.
Oh,
and by the way, that attack is so vicious. We're not showing you the full video this morning, but Fort Myers, Florida police say that this video shows
Fort Myers.
Robert Joaquin walking
Check
up to a
this
gas
out.
station clerk and hitting her with a hammer multiple times. Joining me now is Republican North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris. I paused there because it just takes your breath away.
It really does.
Even when the video is paused and you don't see it in full. What's been your reaction to this killing of a 51-year-old mother and store clerk out of Florida, especially that he was granted temporary protected status, which expired in
temporary
2024?
Protective status. I didn't even know he was illegal.
It's just another tragedy that
So here we go again. It's like it just keeps happening and nobody does anything. And then that was a red state. Then let's go over to Virginia. I don't know, that new governor, she hasn't been there not even 100 days like Kami Dani, but an illegal immigrant and an accomplice involved in a murder case. This was a murder case. If it was an American, you know, they would throw the book at us. Just 5 years in a plea deal. 5 years. Why? Because of progressive prosecutors. So we not only have progressive prosecutors, progressive judges, and then the cops are doing their job, the paperwork that goes with that arrest, and then these people don't follow through and just throw them right back out. How does that happen? It's so sad. I mean, warnings ignored, life lost. So again, we're left asking, why does it keep getting to this point? Why do we keep coming to the same conclusion? So let's talk about what's actually happening right now in real cases, real victims that aren't getting attention, and people are afraid to talk about them without being attacked. Well, think about it. A legal immigrant, and I talk about these cases, and they call me a racist. So I can only imagine how white people feel. Our only salvation is the Black communities because all these things are affecting the Black communities. And I think they just had enough with the Democrats. And hopefully it shows in 2026 midterm elections, because if it doesn't, we are screwed. We really are. They're going to go after Trump. and impeach him time and time again. That's all they have. If you ask any of these people running for office what they're going to do, and there's very few that has stepped away from getting Trump, but that's all they have. That is the only policy they have. Let's get Trump. Let's get Trump. We're going to impeach him. We're going to do this. Look at the war in Iran. These people are cheering. Guys, it's disgusting. These people are cheering for our military to fail miserably. Not because Iran didn't need to be put in its place once and for all, but because it's Trump doing it. If it wasn't Trump, oh my God, it'd be all over the news. They'd be talking about whoever was behind it over and over again. This is ridiculous. Sorry about that. So it's all about getting Trump. So let's see what happens in the midterms, because one of the things that I've noticed is that we, as a country, have stepped back from mental illness. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. There's so many mental illness people out in our cities, whether they're illegal or legal or Americans. Nobody's getting the help that they need. And of course, if they are Americans, they're being, I don't even know what to say. They're not being taken seriously because the system is also handling the illegals. So our Americans, our soldiers, our homeless population is saturated or whatever. I don't know how the word is, but if you catch my drift, is saturated with so many illegals that us taxpayer, the money that we have given for all these programs to work, they can't because there's so many of them. And do not tell me that that's not true. If not, go back and watch my show on the Moriel back in the 80s. Fidel Castro did that better than any of these people. I told you that. The jails were empty. The mental institutions were empty. And the same thing happened when Biden and Kamala opened the borders up. And again, nothing. We have no accountability for any of these people who were involved in what they did to the border and what they done to our country. So I don't know. I hope the new DOJ, that's one of the reasons why I was against Pam Bondi, because again, there's so many people that really need to be locked up for this because they lied. They lied to Congress and they lied to us on the TV for 4 years. They lied to us. Oh no, the borders are closed. Oh no, the borders are closed. The borders were never closed, guys. If anything, they were wide open. And I'm going to keep exposing that as much as I can. So let's move on. Case number 4. This one hit me hard because it was a 15-year-old, 18-year-old illegal immigrant that entered during the Obama years as a child back then. Now he's 18. Lured a 15-year-old boy, ambushed him, chased him down, and executed him while that child pleaded for his life. Think about that. Think about that child. Think about that family. I believe Trump has an organization for all the victims of all these illegals. And I really hope that people start paying attention to these families because nobody's safe. Nobody is safe. Every time people call to abolish ICE, think about all these victims. But since this one's current, think about this guy, this child, this family, and this 18-year-old who apparently don't give a shit about human life. So let's share this one.
Prosecutors charged another man in the murder of 15-year-old Miles Young. Greene County prosecutors say on March 12th, a juvenile girl messaged Young, convincing him to meet her for sex. all while the girl and 4 others, including Jeffrey Archega, were planning to set Young up. The girl then picked Young up in a separate car. Court documents say witnesses who knew Young told him not to go with her because she didn't like him
I wish
and
he
blamed
hadn't.
him for the death of another person in a Greene County homicide from 2025. After Young was picked up, him and the girl were on West Maplewood when the other car with Archega and others turned to block the road. And according to witnesses, Young bolted, and Archega followed him with a handgun. One witness told police they heard Young on the phone say he didn't want to die before they heard 2 more gunshots.
Now, talk about that, huh? How about that? He didn't want to die. Every time people call for abolishing ICE, think about these victims. Don't let these idiots tell you that illegals are nice and illegals are great. You know what? They are. Some of them are great. But the way that what happened in these past 4 years, and apparently even with the Obama, because this kid was a child. And then you talk about, now he's 18 and he had already murdered somebody in 2025, but they couldn't find him. It is just a shit show. It is a shit show because, a country has not everybody obeys the law and things happen and you have crime and you have killers. Look at the guy in the one that killed the Ukrainian girl. He's been arrested so many times because of his mental illness, but they keep throwing him back on the regular society. And even now they're saying he cannot be held accountable because he's got mental issues. I don't know where we lost it here, but mental institutions need to be back. They need to be wide open again. We need to open those again. And we need to figure this out because I don't think it's going to get any better, guys. And I know Trump is doing everything he can, but look at the opposition. Look at the Democrats. And if we don't do something about it, the only people that I have hope for is the Black communities, because most of these things are happening in their cities, in their backyard. And if something doesn't change in the midterms and these Democrats get power anytime soon, we are going to see more and more of these, and everybody should go out and get a carry and conceal license because it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world out there if these Democrats get in 2026 midterm elections. Because all they're going to do is go after Trump. We know that. That's all they want to do is get Trump, get Trump, get Trump, get Trump. They don't have any policies. They don't have anything. And apparently they didn't hear the voters because if they heard the voters, they'd know that we wanted ICE out there picking up as many as they possibly can. Because police officers are overwhelmed. They make a report, they get the person arrested, and then it's almost like a slap in the face because they do all the paperwork and then we got the progressive prosecutors and the progressive judge and everybody goes back out in the street. So what are we doing? What is the system doing? Because from where people are sitting, it looks like no one is being held accountable. No one. Mayorkas, who sat in front of us time and time and time again and told us the borders were closed. Well, think about it. They actually sat in front of us, too, and said the Biden was all there running circles around them in the White House when we clearly saw something different. But again, it's look over there, don't look over here. And now they cannot cover this up because more and more medias have no choice but to report on it. I feel like this month has been nothing but killings and illegals. Aside from the war in Iran, which we know where they stand on that. So, which brings me to the Iranian case that I have here. You got a case like Aranda, Rango, Irania, whatever their names are, the mom and daughter inside the lavish life of slain Iranian general, niece to the U.S., living here in the United States, benefiting from our country, while at the same time showing loyalty to hers. Because when you talk to any of these people, they mean death to America. They're not fucking around with that. They want death to America. So the women over there have to be covered from head to toe. And these chicks here have little to no clothes on. And I mean, you don't have to go far. Just you'll find more stuff on social media on them than you will in the paper. I think I found something, but again, I couldn't get the pictures of them being in a helicopter or them being at the beach with a two-piece bathing suit, but I saw them all on Instagram. Let's see. Release after the Iranian. Here we go. Check this one out.
General Qasem Soleimani are now in federal custody tonight after being arrested by immigration agents here in Los Angeles last night.
As
Los Angeles.
Accused of
We're at war
supporting
with
what the
this
U.S.
with this
government says
country.
is a terrorist regime in Iran.
This is Hamadeh
Check her
Soleimani,
out.
Afshar's profile on Facebook.
Look at her
She's the
necklace.
niece
Look
of
at all
former
that while her
Iranian
people
Major
are
General
starving over there.
Qasem Soleimani. Afshar and her daughter were taken into ICE custody in Los Angeles and will
You
be
think?
deported back to Iran. The State Department says Soleimani's nieces were living a lavish lifestyle here in LA, and at least one of them promoted propaganda from the Iranian regime and
Well, what do you expect? Of course they were propaganda. They don't like us. But they sure love our lifestyle because they yell death to America every chance they get. She was let in around 2019. Think about that. But now, was it a visa? Was it asylum? Family sponsorship? What exactly was it? Because that matters. Here's how she got into the U.S. So mom entered the U.S. in 2015 on a tourist visa. That was before Trump took office in 2016. Because I could hear the people saying, well, Trump was in office. Well, again, this was 2015 on a tourist visa. Now, granted asylum 19 by an immigration judge. Again, what do we finish up with? The word judge. How could that be? They didn't follow up on that. And the last time I checked, Iran doesn't even have a U.S. embassy. So they came in through another one of their countries around there. She received a green card, permanent residency, which is what I lived with for 40-something years in this country, in 2021. Her daughter entered on a student visa in 2015. Later also became a green card holder. Both were granted asylum in 2015, 2019 by an immigration ding, 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 ding judge. And the real question isn't just who signed off on it, it's how the system allowed it to happen in the first place. Again, there is no embassy in Iran. They've been our enemy 47 years. Let me say this. There are people, good people, who come to this country because they love freedom and they want it. They want to work. They want to build a life. They want to follow the law. I know that because I lived it. I went through the process, the paperwork, the waiting, the interviews, all the hoops I had to jump just to become a citizen. Think about that. And I've been here since I'm 9 years old. So basically, I'm 59 minus 9. I've been here 50 years. And I just became a citizen last year. And again, I always say, I'm so glad it was under Donald Trump. I hated that it was Dick Durbin doing the Pledge of Allegiance because you have to swear off whatever country you came from, which tells me, and hopefully tells you, that they are just doing it to do. And there's so many other people that would take this country and everything that it has to offer to heart. And these people come here to shit on us. That's it. They just come here to shit on us. And trust me, their best way of doing it is through the schooling system, whether it's in high school or colleges. I am one of those moms who sent in a kid to college and she came out totally different. Totally different. I like to think that they change their tunes because, again, we all at that age of college, we all want everybody to be inclusive. We want rainbows and unicorns. Come on, we all did it. Back when it was the hippies and so on. But hopefully you grow out of that and you see them, the Democratic Party, for who they really are. And they're no longer that old Democratic Party that our parents grew up with. That is not the case. This Democratic Party is all about socialists and communists. And I will talk more about that because I believe there's an agenda out there, and I forgot the name of the group, and I don't want to talk about it until I find all the details, who they are wanting to go through with this, and they have a roadmap, and they want to accomplish it by 2032. So I'm going to tell you again, if any of these Democrats get in power, we're screwed. So sometimes things just doesn't add up. We should be asking the question, real questions, about how decisions are being made and whether the system is being applied fairly. Because we know a lot of immigrants want to come here for freedom, and they would cherish our laws, and they would obey, and they just want to come here to work and give their family a better life. How can these enemies get in? Because it's not being applied fairly. I'm not saying every case is the same, but I am saying this. If the system is fair, it should make sense. And right now, it doesn't. And the more we find out about these cases, the more you can see. Again, in Cuba, my Cuba, you got Sandro Castro's son showing off his lifestyle, his apartment, his freedom in Havana, talking about capitalism, while everybody in Cuba struggles. And now he's saying, oh, I think the Cuban people want capitalism. You think? Now you think. But it doesn't affect him because he lives off his family's name. So which is it? Because I know that they have seen another Cuban grandson or something in Miami, Florida, living it up on yachts and boats, and you name it, they have it. But their people don't. So why do they keep coming here? Because they love our country, but they want to shit on it. Alina Fernández, the daughter of Fidel Castro, speaking out this weekend, I believe, telling her story in a documentary, what it's like growing up inside the regime and why she hopes Cuba can become. She's a trooper. But as I was watching the news on her in the Spanish thing, she left a bad taste in my mouth because the documentary features several Cuban artists. One that I cannot stand is Gloria Estefan. In my opinion, she has never done anything to help free Cuba. She's a strong supporter of the Democratic Party. That says it all for me. I don't support Democrats at all, not even a little bit, at all. Because they have moved so far to the left. The same party that, in my view, has allowed the Cuban regime to remain in power for 67 years. So I'm saying this to my fellow Cubans. I'm also saying this out loud to anybody that has a problem with legal immigrants or that thinks that socialist is the way to go. Socialist equals communist. And I'm telling my Cuban people, don't expect that party to lift a finger for Cuba. That's why I say vote red. This is my opinion, but it's also based on what I've seen over time. Look at how places like New York City are being run today. And then look at Cuba. Because Cuba is one of the clearest real world example of what socially turns into. You don't have to look very far. Just look at it. Their buildings, their homes, their farms. Just look at it. Not just of what TV. Just try to find a good Spanish. There's quite a few Cuban people that feel the exact same way I feel. So this is not a personal thing. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not here to tell anyone what to think. I'm just sharing what I see and how it makes me feel. And maybe the real question is, why are so many people afraid to say anything about this out loud, about the illegals, about all these communists that keep coming here on visas and shitting in our country? I just don't get it. So I'm going to leave this or try to finish this with, there was, and this is, so I'm not attacking just blue states. In Florida, there was a hammer attack by an illegal Haitian. Guys, it was brutal. I won't even show you the video. It was brutal. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. We're going to see more and more of it every single day in every single news cycles, unless you're watching CNN. And even though I think CNN has had no choice but to report, because it's just overwhelming. So all the videos that include in my show are reportings from multiple news sources used under fair use for education and commentary purpose, which is what I post, which is what I talk about, and I will post the links if you want to take a look at them. I'm telling you, if we don't keep this red wave going, this is not going to stop. And we're going to see more and more of it. And I want ICE to do its job and to go back out and do what it has to do. I have a lot of stuff coming this coming week with the Scumwell. I call him Scumwell. It's Newsom. I called Newsom Newscum, and now I call this Max, whatever his name is, Scumwell, the one that got busted, who's running for governor over there, who just got busted. Can't make this shit up, guys. You can't make it up. Those who scream the loudest are typically the ones who are doing whatever they're accusing the other people of doing. I mean, he even had a Brazilian house cleaner who didn't even have legal papers. And again, it's modern day slavery for these people. That's why they want these illegals. Not to mention that I think, and I hope and I pray to God that they have lost the black vote, or they continue to just lose the black vote. Because again, the communities that are most affected are those in low income communities. Those are the people that get affected. And I think the blacks have had enough of these people, but they need voters. And this is why they're fighting tooth and nail with the new law for votes, for ID to show ID to vote. And this is why we got to keep fighting and fighting and fighting to get all this stuff under control. Because I'm telling you, if they get in the midterms, we will see nothing but impeach Trump. Impeach Trump. So with that, I'm going to let go. I am going to Texas, Austin, Texas. This time, by the time this video comes out, I'll be in Texas. I'll do a bunch of little shows. Like I said before, like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't done some, find my Instagram at Barbie Unfiltered 67, or my Facebook, or my TikTok. And there's where I'm going to be posting the whole time that I am in Austin, Texas. I heard it was a very progressive city, so I'm looking forward to it. Again, maybe do some line dancing with the girls. It's a girls' trip, so I'm looking forward to it. Again, guys, have a good week. I hope you like what I'm bringing you. Sorry about the on and on thing here. Sometimes I get caught in my own, or I step away from the teleprompter because, screw the script. I'm just going to say what I want. But hopefully we'll see where this goes. And again, I do it because it's therapeutic. It's good for me. And if I have something that I can personally, that I share with some of the stories that I bring out, I will always share them. But I don't have anything with illegal immigrants because my whole family was brought here legally. And even the Muriel family that was brought here legally, we saw very well firsthand what those countries, or what Cuba did in order to make that happen. So I don't put anything past the Cuban regime. I just hope Mark Rubio and Trump get it done, because it will never happen unless it's a Republican in office. And with that, I leave. Thank you, and have a great week, everybody. Have a good one.